Hello, everybody. Thank you so much you found time to meet with us together today. And so let's go forward with our, go deeply, dive to the project you guys working on. In case of collaboration with CYLAND MediaArtLab. So as you remember, at the first meeting, I was told the first and foremost, the idea. So without an idea, there is no creative act. That's why we always start with it. So today we'll talk about the project you are working on with our collaboration. You know, it is a manipulator, but we will call it more officially like shy robots. This is the real name of the project. So the idea, when the machine acquires anthropomorphic features, is interactive and programmed to convey the human emotions, it evokes a sense of adornment in us humans. We want to help it, interact with it, feeling like the more intelligent being. This means we start perceiving it as a part of a living world. So a significant part of the concept is the idea of human interaction with their own creation, playing with intelligence. It may be amusing, but it can be also dangerous if you look at it from another angle. In the status of an art piece, the machine, the mechanism, the machine, the robot exists by itself, not as a function for performing any task. It's the idea itself, a phenomenon, so not a tool. What must we do for the mechanism, for the machine, to acquire sufficient and necessary anthropomorphic traits so that we humans can establish an emotion connection with it? In the world of living being, there are several characteristics by which they identify each other and engage in communication. Primarily, it's not the spoken language, because not everyone can speak a common language, right? There are another communication channels available to them. And first two communication tools is eyes and mouth. Eyes focus the gaze and are the primary instrument for establishing communication. So when we look to each other, that means we're ready for the communication. Not in Zoom, of course, but in real life, that works everywhere, in every culture, in every situation. So everyone who is in the line of sight is potentially an object of emotional contact. This is how living beings communicate. I see you, I'm looking at you, you are in my focus. So I'm already analyzing you. This is the first and the most important tool to humanize any object, mechanism. I will give you some examples today. And the mouth, in its primitive version, is important for us to understand there is already dangerous when we show our teeth, or we're still in safe when we don't show it. in the things change, and the smile even has the opposite meaning now. But anyway, mouth is very important thing. We always focus on the mouth during the communication between alive persons. In more developed versions of communication between intelligent beings, we read facial expressions. So in artistic expression, those would be pantomime and body language. Only then does spoken language appears. So it is entirely secondary. So face, eyes, mouth, pantomime, and body language. When we use our hands or the whole body, doesn't matter. Depends on the situation. Maybe you remember the movie, of course you remember the movie Terminator by Spielberg. So the boy, he teaches the machine what to do, to smile. And this is the first and most important thing, to hide the machine under the humanized being. So in our work, we must consider this critical factor. As I said, studying pantomime and body language will be absolutely necessary for us. So let's see how, let me show you how artists in different cases animate vehicles, special equipments, and other mechanisms to humanize it. So the first is the example from 1945. This is the American cartoon, The Train, with the face. So you see like easy and simple turn, not humanized thing to humanize it. Just add the face with eyes, mouth, and some other things which will show your emotions and mimic motions. You will turn anything to alive. The second example is very popular cartoon Cars, you know, by Pixar. So here is the other option. They add eyes on the windshields, and that's it. And the smile with a radiator grid, just like that. One more example is just adding one eye and the windshield of the airplane gives absolutely different experience. So when we see the eyes, we're already ready for communication, right? And one of the most lovely example is WALL-E. Here you can see not only eyes, but the manipulation tools it turns in hands. So that's how the machine can be pretty easy humanized. Okay, this is the cartoon examples, and let me show you I don't know if we have a lot of people here who elder than 35 years old. I'm pretty sure everybody knows this example, but maybe people who are younger, they will see it at the first time. This is the 3D animation by Pixar company. It shows how the absolutely unhumanized things like lamp could be humanized by giving to them the humans moving and moving system. Okay, this is 1989. So it's a very, very beginning of the 3D animation. And as you can see, in this example, we can read all the emotions. So in a few seconds, we already forgot that it's not a human playing. So we see a parent and a child during playing balls, and emotions between these persons we can already recognize. So there are no any eyes or something like that, and the Pixar, they used only the plastic language. They just got the lamp and turn it to the imagine hand or body and head and eye like a bulb and everything. So that's how it works. Very easy, but like I told you, first of all is idea. Okay, and one more example I would love to introduce to you before I will tell you more about the pantomime and about the body language. We will talk about soon. This is the not so popular, but I'm pretty sure maybe somebody already know that. This is the Animusic studio, which started in early 2000s. This is completely fantastic musical instrument. When you're watching it, please try to focus on every movement of every moving part of this mechanism. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm not gonna show you the whole video. You can Google it yourself and watch the all series of this amazing project, which calls Animusic. And what I would like to focus for you guys is the unlike a machine, a human has an like excessive dynamic range of movements. And this is the very, very important difference between the machine and human. So this is how our central nervous system works. But within our tasks, we must overcome this difference, create the excessive dynamic range. So to humanize the mechanism, we must to add as much movements as possible in the program. So we need to create a large numbers of patterns of dynamic. Let me show you how the pantomime, the hands pantomime works. So we're going close to the other, our project theme. Here is the pantomime of hands.
In Christ alone, my hope is found. He is my light, my strength, my song. This cornerstone, this solid ground, firm through the fiercest drought and storm. What heights of love, what depths of peace, when fears are stilled and when striving cease, my comforter.
So as you can see, the human's moving dynamic never repeats. So that's why it's so important to make as much as possible the huge range of patterns we can program in our project. So for example, if somebody will look at the project and look at the moving process of the machine during the minute or more, the human eye will register that the pattern begins to repeat. So that's how we will easily recognize that it's not the humanized thing, it's a machine. So that's why to hide the machine characteristics under the humanized sense, we have to create as more patterns as possible. So that's why I think AI is this is the only one decision for this project. Am I right, guys?
Yeah, yeah, not particularly AI, but we can use some types of machine learning to create some unique, movements depending on the situation. So basically, so what you're saying that through the machine learning, we should create a humanized basically manipulator, right? But overall, for the people in the call, we already talked about this concept that we had, and there's a couple of articles on the details of the installation. But basically, we had some conversation. Hey, so let's do the art engineering, right? But what we want to try, and this conversation started with this shy robot, which is basically is exploring the human emotions in the mechanical world, in the automated machines world, right? And basically that's really interesting. But for us, it's more interesting to bring it into our industry so we can be more passionate what we're doing, right? So I believe that will help to even more dive into this world of art and engineering in order to understand what it really is and what type of benefits it's going to bring to us. So that's why that title has been selected, exploring unknowns in the era of machine ML AI driven smart manufacturing. That's not just been selected as just the name. You know, in the engineering city, that's a big topic. Manufacturing, smart manufacturing. There's in the near future there will be a research center with actual industry grade robots, which will do just that. So this is really good. So this will capture what we need. So in terms of projects, so that's we can maybe have some grounded discussion, because in the previous discussion we had some high level conversations, but basically the way I understand what we need to do is really resonates with what you've been just exploring, in that the robot or whatever machine we create should have human-like emotions, it should have vision, it should have ways to communicate with the others, right, with people or other things. In our case, our idea is to have that manipulator or a couple of manipulators, which will be basically showing a small piece of sophisticated manufacturing part, right? Like it can be something obviously easy to implement for us, because we're not chasing like a technical implementation here. We're not interested in creating a new type of manipulator, right? We just need to have something that we can experiment some artistic approach here. But overall, robotic arms doing some sophisticated manufacturing work. They have human-like vision, or through the sensors, through the cameras, that can capture human involvement, right? In the manufacturing, it's very important to balance human involvement and machine involvement in this time, because if you look at what's happening in our industry right now, it's just pretty interesting, like human replacing the man, right? Sorry, the machine replacing a man, right? That's not a new thing, but now more and more like collaborative robots are coming into the place. Robots which have pretty powerful ML-driven, you know, kind of a cores, which can do jobs sometimes, you know, much better than the human. And the human are naturally getting aggressive. They're getting kind of resistant to that type of machines, which is like, hey, I'm not going to have a job, right? But that's bringing a different, yeah, that's the reality. It's bringing a different opportunity for people, right? Because they can extend their skills and kind of drive into the other place. But the point of this installation is not to dive into that area, but it's really to showcase that through the having a system which can work. Obviously, there will be some ML models applied through the machine vision to object detection and everything. But overall, the idea is that machines need to react accordingly based on the human emotions. Like if you're emotionally not balanced, you're involved in the manufacturing, you're saying, hey, this machine is not doing this job. I've been doing this job much better for the last 20 years. And then you're sort of interrupting that process, right? Obviously, if you're a human, imagine you are a newbie, just came to the manufacturing, and someone with 20 years experience telling you you're doing this wrong, right? You will get shy, you will get red, you will emotionally will be unbalanced, right? That's the point. We need to see how machine will react based on the inputs from the human. If the human is more intelligently affecting the process or trying to help the robot, so robot should capture that, right? Robot should bring that as a device. It should fine-tune the model. It should take that data as a training, like through the kind of talking more precisely,
Exactly.
and then continue the process, right? But not get shy or vibrate or something, but improve the process. So that's to me how we need to showcase that human machine coexistence and how they need to coexist. And most importantly, like I mentioned, to not show just mechanics, but show that human-like anthropomorphical, you know, connection you just described, right? At least we kind of in the same wave, right? In understanding the concept. I'm curious to hear more about your thoughts on this.
Okay, yes, absolutely. You're absolutely right. But what's the most important in case of the art project? Like I told you, is the idea. An idea hides in the name of the project is a shy. So if you compile the technical tasks in this target, you will see that it's completely different than the function of the manipulation, right? So manipulation is just moving from one point to another point without any extra movements and without any reach pattern of various movements, right? So how to provide, if you have only the manipulator with 3 axes, 4 axes, I don't know what kind of motors you would like to use, brushless motors like or stepper motors, doesn't matter, it's up to you absolutely. But all the time when you put any when you put something in your technical task, you will have to think about how to provide the shape. So that's why the artistic part of this technical task is the most important. And of course, it will give you, in a pragmatic part of the project, it will give you more various, more options how to resolve the movement in the technical side, you know? So maybe next time in another more pragmatic project, you can use it for the more pragmatic functions. But the target of the idea and the target of the project is to provide the shape. So my offer is to think about the technical task next time. So I will very happy to hear from you guys any options of AI, any options of motorized parts, and any options of materials.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, sure.
okay.
Yeah, to me, like that's a good point to put, like thinking about shy, right? Like how to achieve that. Like when you're saying, like think about that, you're basically saying, hey, this is your end goal. Like focus on that, right? Not go for the rabbit hole of too technical stuff. So that's exactly what I'm trying to explain. So the way we're thinking about shy, we're not thinking through the lens of the Pixar robot, right? Which is like reacting or some stuff, right? We're thinking about like like someone in manufacturing, like based on that circumstances that I just explained, right? Robot, human, AI is taking place, intelligent manufacturing, everything that's resulting a robot to be shy, right? That's a path we kind of
Of
going,
course.
yeah. Yeah.
That's the most difficult to build the bridge between the technical task and the main idea of the project. So so our mission is to translate, understand the nature of the moving understand the nature of the moving in case of shy, and then translate it to the coordinates and patterns and self-learning. Because the self-learning is very important in this case because of it has the shy is a reaction. You can't shy by yourself. You're shy because of something happens around you. So what kind of situations activate the shy, and how different it could be in only language of moving of one hand? No eyes, no mouth, no words, only hand.
Yeah, that's a good point. So basically, in our world, in the world of engineering, so usually we have a similar process, like where we do a technical discovery. You know, we understand problems, and when we find we try to find solutions, right? And then as a starting point, we always create some sort of a document, like technical requirements, right?
Of
Which
course.
it's a combination of detailed information, what's the problem, how you're going to solve it, and the everything risks and all the details. So I assume we need to do something similar for this art engineering project as well, but from other for other thing is that I don't think we need to be we don't need to talk for the similar language that we usually do as engineers, like, but that I'm
Yes,
more interested to
exactly.
learn how, like, about your experience, like writing, I don't know, like requirements for the project, like what type of language you use. Do you go too technical, or you just go more like into the art, more to the into
Oh
the
yes, Andrade.
philosophy and everything? Yeah.
Yeah, the most powerful tool uh, to understand this language we're talking on is watching experience. So that's why today I was starting to show you the examples, right, which has absolutely artistic and absolutely art space. Because if we'll go to the technical situation and focus to the technical stuff, we will stuck in our regular language. So that's why my offer is during we will try to make technical tasks. We need to talk to each other, and we need to watch as much as possible. It's like any other experience human doing all his life. You just have to watch and repeat. That's how you can dive deeply to the case. So my offer is go forward with like a small communications between a few people who are very, very interesting about the project, who is already in project, just to exchange the experience. You guys give me your technical ideas, I give you the main direction in the artist's view of the situation. And that's how the technical task at the end could be the more reasonable.
Yeah, I think for us it's a good approach. So basically, we can be more proactive and be more like creators, right? Try something, do something, and then build on the top, instead of trying to meticulously plan the details and then try to follow that, and then you're eventually not going to follow that, right? But yeah, I agree. I mean, in general, it's also a good area to get some experience, like, hey, how to balance that, like meticulous planning versus more open-ended creative approach, right? So both have their pros and cons. Obviously, if you planned well, if you're planning very well, that's a great thing. So you know challenges, you can align the timeline and everything, resources, allocations, right? But then if you just do one step and then you discuss and then you do other step, it's like in our world is more like open-ended development, right? Like I'm not kind of criticizing our current approach. I'm just more bringing issues that we typically have. So our approach is not ideal because you get into bureaucracy too much. Bringing some openness
Mhm.
is great. You're bringing fresh air. People work more collaboratively. They show more passion and everything else, right? But then the question comes in how to balance it. So I hope that going through this will help us to
This is
learn
very
one of
complicated
that.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
every time. Exactly. So let's try to go forward. And if you guys okay, I'll give you an options to meet one more time or two more times or more to dive deeply to the situation of this project and talk more about Shy and how it
Oh yeah.
could work in the machine
hmm
language.
Yeah, it's a good start. Just to repeat for the audience. So basically, the first lecture we had with Philip was last week, where he presented more broad overview into the world of art and engineering, like some historical examples and other stuff. So that was more formal. We have a recording which we'll share with you. I already shared with some of you, so you can watch that. And then we agreed to just have a follow-up session. This one just to go a bit deeper into specifics of this type of initiative. I believe we will just continue like making these meetings less formal as we get into the actual work, right? But for others who just enjoys listening, learning, so the next lecture will be on July 24th this week at 5 p.m. So I already shared the invitations again on Zoom. That will be done by Alexandra Dementiva. So there's the details. Yeah, just want to share like how these lectures are progressing. We have like a main line of formal lectures, official lectures, I'm sorry. And then as we get topics, we kind of breaking into the groups and having this type of conversations which are less formal. Okay. Yeah, so I can, so since I'm kind of driving this initiative, so I already have idea like what manipulators we're going to use, open source details, and we're already doing something. So I will share with you the details separately, so you can see what we're aiming for. Okay.
Thank you so much, guys. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Yeah, likewise. Yeah, I hope you and your team is also enjoying this kind of idea and collaboration. Hopefully, it will bring into something that we can document and then share with other engineers, in the community.
I'm full of hopes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Great. I think that's it for today. Ekaterina, thank you so much for recording. I think this was another great lecture. It's step by step bringing us closer to the goal we have. And yeah, I look forward for the other sessions.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Great, of course.